California was once the dream destination of millions of people, but now it's losing millions of them, and much of it has to do with high taxes and a generally anti-business attitude. Economic analyst Jonathan Williams points out what California lost in just 2011.
Nearly 250 companies of all sizes left California for one of the other 49 states.
Ethan Anderson started at Google before striking out to create 2 new companies on his own.
I am hearing almost every single day somebody saying I'm leaving California because they're trying to avoid the high taxes.
And now California is even taxing backwards in time, deciding to demand more money from entrepreneurs and investors for past years. It claims a tax break used by them is no longer valid, and it wants them to pay up.
Now you guys owe us taxes going back 5 years ago, and we want interest on those taxes as well. It's a very scary environment to operate in, when the rules of the game can change, not just going forward, but going back in time.
California is a fantastic place to live, don't get me wrong. It's just not a great place to do business.
Brian Overstreet, who started up 2 businesses in California, has suddenly found himself owing an extra $250,000 because of this sudden move by the state to impose back taxes for the past 5 years.
It's the perfect time to start new businesses, but when the state of California is telling you, we're going to change the rules on you after the fact by up to 5 years, that puts a lot of strain and it puts a lot of questions into people's minds as to whether they really want to go through that or not.
Looking forward, would I want to start another business here? Maybe not. Maybe it's a little bit too risky. Because what if they make the business I'm doing illegal? What if they decide they want to do another 50% tax increase on my business, right?
It's not just a matter of taxes, but of over-regulation and over-litigation, too. Texas Governor Rick Perry has lately been launching strikes into California to encourage unhappy companies to leave.
When you have small businesses that takes months, if not over a year, to get a simple permit to be able to build or do some work. I mean, the unions and the strangulation by regulation in California is just, it's incredibly onerous. So they're doing a lot of things wrong.
And Perry can point to policies in his Texas that are just the opposite, that free businesses up.
Give people more freedom from over-taxation, over-regulation, over-litigation, and it works.
Overstreet says Texas and the especially high-tech hub of Austin have such a wonderful reputation, they're tempting his business buddies to move there.
And I can tell you a number of them have told me specifically that they are very actively starting to look at that for their companies.
Eric Lawful and his company, Compass Learning, have already made the move from California to Austin.
It was hard for us to do business there, harder to do business there than it is to do business here in Texas.
The move was expensive, but the tax savings enormous.
In the first year that we moved, we figured that the savings was about $1 million.
One of the main benefits, no income tax in Texas, meaning a big hike in the paychecks of all the workers who moved.
Everybody got an automatic increase in pay. Automatic.
Williams says the employers he knows talk about this all the time.
Our employees are clamoring to leave high tax locations that we have in California and go to lower cost of living states.
And now this urge to exit high tax states has become a major national trend. Workers and businesses are fleeing in droves from the top 10 high tax blue states, like California, to the top 10 low-tax red states, like Texas.
1 American per minute has left one of the high-tax states over the last decade.
That adds up to an exodus of about 4.5 million Americans from the highest tax states to the lowest.
People vote with their feet, and they're voting very strongly towards the low-tax states.
Talent and money are the most transferable things in this economy right now, and it doesn't much matter whether you work in Austin or California. And if you can do better for yourself, you can provide your employees a better base and a better lifestyle, you have to be considering it.
If this trend continues, America could end up with a group of economically failing, possibly bankrupt states who chase their wealth away.
You're going to lose your business leaders, and you're going to be left with a population that is more dependent on the welfare state.
California's going to end up getting less taxes than they would have gotten if they just left things alone, because now all these people who are generally wealthy are leaving.
Williams says lawmakers in well-to-do states are telling him they're frightened they'll be forced to someday bail out a bunch of deadbeat states.
They say, well, if California is the new Greece, why are we going to give our hard-earned tax dollars to bail out basket cases like California and Illinois?
And Anderson is worried his home state won't turn itself away from this economic downward spiral.
California had so many gifts. How could this state actually be bleeding people? Seems like they're trying to shoot the goose that lays the golden egg.
For generations, thousands of companies have been proud to fly the California flag, loving to live here. But as they're feeling more threatened by this state, plenty of businesses are warning they may have to go. And they mean business. Paul Strand, CBN News, reporting from Torrance, California.